Okay, hi, my name is Ahmed Dusso, and today I'll be discussing Mali. So first, we have the geography of Mali. Very simple. It's in the western part of Africa, being landlocked by Niger, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Mauritania, just to name a few. And here we see a little bit more of the geography. So here we have the Niger River going through Mali, which is probably a big body of water, the closest to the big body of water they can access due to them being landlocked. We have the Sahara deserts, which covers almost half the country, and see the capital Bamako in more of the greener forest area. So next we have the capital Bamako. So very simple. It's just a photo of Bamako and the city itself. Next we have the rural part, which is probably this is very close to the Niger River. So basically, the poverty trap. We're going to discuss the factors that have led to Mali being in poverty. First is obviously they were a colonized country by the French, so that could have been an effect on how they produce because they were supposed to produce agricultural goods rather than investing in new technology. Next is would be the landlocked. So due to them being landlocked and only having the Niger River as their source of body water, it's very hard for them to import or export a lot of goods. Next, we have the port infrastructure, which was led due to them being colonized because France only expected them to produce gold or agricultural goods, so that may have had an effect on how they produce. Next, we have poor health, and this could be also due to the poor infrastructure, so the they don't have hospitals to basically suffice the health needs, which now causes for slower and less people living longer. And next we have the corruption, which has been a big part of the country, which I'll discuss, which has led to them having poverty. So next is the GDP and the unemployment rate. So the annual growth rate is actually just 5.1% this year, and by 2020 it should be 5%. The GDP of Mali in U.S. dollars is $15.29 billion, which is rather compared to a lot of countries in Africa, it's very low. Next, we have the GDP per capita, which is 762, along with also the per capita per person to 2014, along with also the unemployment rate, which I'll discuss a little bit later. But as you see, I put the statistic here. Next, we have the 10-year growth. So basically, it's very simple to say that they have been growing steadily, even though they had some subs in 2012 and 2015. But other than that, they've been consistently increasing. The economic development, so their index according to the HEI has been 0.427, which is a rank 182. Their literacy rate for adults for a percentage of ages 15 and older is 31.1%. Their expected years in school is 7.7. That's probably due to kids being expected to go help their parents in the agricultural sector rather than furthering their education in school. So life expectancy is 15.5 years, which is relatively low compared to other countries like the U.S. Infant mortality is 68.0% per thousand, which is good, which is relatively good, and it has been decreasing over time, which means that we're having less mortalities. Malaria being a big problem in the region, and that could have been that's due to the poor health standards and all. And it's 459.7 per thousand, which is almost half the country. So, what resources do Mali have? So, as I stated before, they have a lot of agricultural minerals. So, their biggest sector is the gold industry, with 41.37%. There's sheep and other oil seeds, which is their agricultural, and also cotton and raw cotton being a huge percentage of the economy, and also they're leading in gold production. So next we have the infrastructure. So as we see, this is a road in Mali, which it looks pretty rundown, as shown before. And also you can even see like the cars or everything. It's not very developed. It's not very modernized, and they also use bikes as another form of transportation. So that's a problem. However, they have been developing their airports a lot more, like a lot of African countries at this time, which is a very good thing because now they're able to they're able to produce, be more efficient and also send out more. So this is the new airport in Bamako, capital. So the human capital, the unemployment rate is 7.9%, which by 2020 it should be 6.5%, which is relatively low. So that's good. But the labor force participation rate is 71.5, which is also very good. However, males are at 82.5% in the participating, and females are at 60.8%, and that's probably due to some women being told that they had to stay inside, stay in, and work and watch the kids rather than go out and follow their passions. So the imports and exports, so a major part of their exports is coming from they export a lot to Switzerland, which is 23.77%. They export also to Senegal, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, China, Vietnam, United Arab Emirates, etc. They import a lot to Senegal, which is probably due to their monetary union, which I'll discuss a little bit later, along with also Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, also in that same monetary union. France, they export a lot to France, import a lot from France, China, and also 1.73% from U.S. So the monetary union here for is basically the CFA, which is Central African. So they're in the Zone A member states, and also they share the same currency with a lot of these countries like Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, Niger, Ivory Coast, etc. So so this helps them a lot easier, which is why they probably import a lot from Senegal because it's easier for them due to the same currency. So the FDI the firm investments. So they had an agreement with Ainvo in 2015, which is an African country. We're going to tech along with also BWSC, which is $100 million contracts with the U.S. in U.S. dollars, and also the Orange, which is a French TV company and phone bill. It's like the Verizon of France, basically, and they are in the area and a lot of the other countries. So Mali has been relying a lot on financial aid coming from the International Monetary Funds, World Bank, African Development Bank, etc. You guys can see it here, and a lot of the donors include France, United States, Denmark, Canada, Netherlands, Germany, etc. So it's estimated to be 596.4 million in 2001, but in 2003 it decreased. So it's being a big percentage of the GDP. So as I said, corruption is a huge problem in the country because they need to fix that immediately because it's very hard to open a business and also hurdles for investors, which because now you can literally bribe anybody you want for the judicial system and the police system. So it's very hard. It's very hard to have a business and for investors to really want to invest in the economy. So next we have the national debt, and it has been increasing ever since 2000. However, the percentage of the GDP has been decreasing, and it's shown in the diagrams very simply. Don't need to go into. So the poverty data, which is probably the biggest thing, 49.7% live under $1.90 a day. So according to the $1.90, so basically that's almost half the population that lives under $1.90, which is not good. So they need to find a solution to that, and I feel the best solution is using supply side policies and getting more people in work. So as we see here, there would be increase in SRS, investing in new infrastructures, which would decrease the price level and increase the real GDP. Also decrease the unemployment without moving the aggregate demand curve, and that would allow for more people to actually join the market, to be able to join and be able to produce more. As stated before, it would be government-led investment on infrastructure. It doesn't shift to AD, and it's secure to know that the real GDP will actually increase. They could also take a market base and make it more easier due to corruption, making it more easier for investors and businesses to open their businesses, which would also increase SRS, which is another idea. So the forecast, what do I believe? I feel like there's two things that Mali would focus on. I think it's the infrastructure and the corruption. So basically, the infrastructure, and they would continuously be updating the roads and airports, for example, which is very boxed in and is what the movement is. And I feel like if they do, and also corruption, I feel like they would try to fix corruption to make them more pleasing, for investors, which as according to this diagram, they have been increasing. I feel like the forecast is they're going to continuously still increase, maybe on a slower rate, but their GDP is still going to be increasing. So thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe for more videos. And thank you.